Hello everybody, and thanks for tuning into my second YouTube video ever. Ever, ever, ever. And I thought I would make a video today about my favorite books. Remembering that I haven't really read a lot in the past 4 or 5 years due to having children and being consumed with taking care of them. All mothers know what I'm talking about. So I'm just gonna jump into it. Harry Potter is my super favoritist everything. So the Harry Potter series is for sure my favorite series, and it's hard for me to pick one of them as my favorite. But I am rereading them right now. Just thought it would be a good start to get me back into reading, like rereading my favorites. And so I'm reading right now The Order of the Phoenix. And this book is really great, and I understand more of it and whatever, like, because I'm a grown-up now. Because I probably read these books first when I was just like, I don't know, like early teens. So, this book is like very political. Harry's all like angsty, angry all the time. But it's because of like the whole connection with Voldemort, like mostly. And people still treating him like a kid, but like, you're 15, so you kind of are still a kid. Seeing it from a parent's perspective. But yeah, this is I think I don't know, maybe when I get to rereading the sixth one I'll decide that one's my favorite, but Harry Potter's my favorite in general. And then we got this one, Ammonite by Nicola Griffith. And I found this one vacationing, actually I think I was living in Costa Rica at the time, at like this little bookshop that's like you can trade the books. So you bring your books that you don't want anymore. I think it's mainly meant for people on vacation. You bring the books that you've already read, and she assigns like a value to them. You give her like 4 or 5 books, and she'll say, okay, you can go pick out like $6 worth of stuff. And so I found this one in there, and I don't know, I grabbed it. It's a sci-fi. It's about this woman I think she's like an anthropologist, and she there's a bunch of different planets that have life. And she goes to this one planet, and it's just really cool. Like, the planet mostly only has just women living on it. And so she's supposed to go there to study it and stuff. And there's this virus that when new people like that aren't from the planet like come down there, like whatever they're doing, like to study it or whatever, they always eventually get sick with this virus. And it kills men completely, like that no men have survived it. And it some of the women die, but some of them, they just like get through it and they're good. And so it's been a long time since I read it, so I can't remember like the point of her going to the planet. She's supposed to be studying something, probably the virus, to like figure out how they can like bypass that. And she ends up like going off and then like assimilating into one of the tribes of women that live there. And like these women that live there, they like have babies together and stuff, like even though they're just women and they're not using like in vitro or whatever. Like, it's really cool, it's really interesting. Definitely one of my favorites. Then we have this one, The Glass Castle by Jeanette Walls. And this is a memoir. This is true stories about this woman's family and growing up. There's a movie. The movie is pretty good, but it leaves out stuff. So if you liked the movie, you should read the book, because there's a lot more in there. Obviously, they can never get all of it. But there's details left out and some cool stories that they just didn't get in the film. And I really liked it. It's a really cool story. Some parts sad, but I mean, just overcoming adversity and being poor and all that. So that's one of my favorites. And then one of my favorite series is, or I guess probably my second favorite, because Harry Potter's my favorite, is this series. And I forget like what they call the name of the series. Oh yeah, maybe like the Otherworld series, I think. And so this isn't the first book because I must have lent it out. I'm like that. And I lend out my books and sometimes like give them away, even the good ones, because I just want to share, you know. So this isn't the first one. The first one's called Bitten. This is by Kelly Armstrong. It's a series, but it's not too long of a series. And the books are easy reads. I don't think... I'm not sure if this is meant to be adult or YA. But, like, either way, it's good. It's an easy read, but I love the world. It's, like, vampires and werewolves and witches and wizards and demons, and the world is just our world, how it is. And these people, like, all live among us, and they have their own, like, cultures and things. And so, all the main characters, or, like, most of the main characters that the different books in the series follow are women. And so I loved that the women are always the center of it. And it's just cool, and it intermingles the different stories. So Bitten is all about a female werewolf, which is like kind of like an unheard of thing. Werewolves are 100% male all the time, and she's just like an anomaly. I said that wrong, whatever. She's yeah, okay. Anyways. So there's no other female werewolves, just her. It's a weird thing. And then I think the second book's also mostly about the werewolves, and then in getting into the third and the fourth book, it starts in about the witches, and it'll follow a witch, and then it follows like I think like a seer at one point, or I forget what they call her, like a lady who can see ghosts, and yeah, like it's really cool. I love it. And then my fifth one, which they're not in order, by the way, it's like whatever, they're just my favorites. My fifth one, I think I've also lent them out because I was looking at my bookshelf, deciding which ones to put in the video, and kind of having a little bit of a panic attack because like my favorite ones are not there. And it's a trilogy of 3. And maybe I'll figure out editing stuff and put a picture like here when I'm editing. But so it's called Sabriel by Garth Nix. And it's been so long since I read it. But I have read it more than once, and it's a trilogy. And there's Sabriel, Lyriel, and then Abhorsen. And it's like super fantasy. It's a whole different world from this with different rules, and it's like necromancy, and she goes into the world of the dead, and she does all these different things. And I need to reread it because I can't even give you like a good grasp of the plot anymore because that's how many years it's been since I read it, but it's definitely up there in my favorites. So it's probably an old one because it would have been a teenager when I read it. And I know that I've borrowed it out as I was panicking, not being able to find it. Like, where the heck is it? Like, I didn't give it away. I didn't, donate it. So if I don't like books, I like clean things out. I am not a hoarder at all. I clean things out and I get rid of them if they're not good or whatever. But there's no way I would have donated that like on purpose. But I've also moved a few times. But I remembered that I borrowed it to my younger cousin, who is like a crazy reader. He reads like so much, it's too much. his dad's always complaining about all the books he has to buy him. But anyways, so those are my top 5 favorite books. But as I get into reading and I read more current things, that might change. But yeah, well, that's all for today. Have a good day.